I have this sample running. This is present in the SDK. You can download it and go through it. So basically what you see is on the top there is the info of this device, which is the particular device. Every device has an ID, that's the ID present. So you can see both of them show themselves as available. These devices are available right now. So the first thing we got to do is jump over to the settings menu, the system setting menu, and enable Wi-Fi P2P Direct. So I do this, and it's enabled. There is a notification on top, Wi-Fi Direct is on. And I go back. I do the same thing in the other device. And I go back. So a lot of this can be automated. I just have manual steps to show. Like your API can do it automatically. So at this point, we would initiate a discovery of peers. So I'm going to click the search button, and they're both looking for devices. Now you see the second device popped up here. So the second device can find the first device, and the first device is able to see the second device. Now there's somebody else here who has a S2 who has turned it on, but that's okay. So you see two devices, my S2, somebody's using a Galaxy S2, running a mod or something. That's okay. So I'm going to connect to one of the devices. There's some info there. This is what you get in Wi-Fi P2P info. Basically a MAC address and the IP address. So I'm going to connect to this device. I get an invitation on the second device. Connection setup request has been. You can set up a Wi-Fi security, WEB password, whatever you want, or the kind of security you want. Right now it's just push button. So I do OK. And at this point a connection is being created. So there, one of the device becomes the group owner. Now this is transparent to the user. In this case, a device has been assigned the owner. Am I the group owner? No. Am I the group owner? Yes. So this device is the owner. We don't have to bother about that as a user, but as a developer, you know which device is the owner or has the IP address. So I'm going to launch the gallery here. And I'm going to pick up a photo of a restaurant I went yesterday. And as soon as I picked up the photo, it appeared on the other device. So this is a Wi-Fi connection, and we are using rich media transfer here. You can transfer videos, any amount of data you want. This is basically the power of Wi-Fi P2P, a fast connection at a range. So I'll do this just once again. So I'm going to go to the gallery on this device and pick up another photo, which is from the Google office in Taipei 101, and you see a view of Taipei 101 there. So basically transferring a photo. Alright, so that was Wi-Fi P2P Direct. What's important to know is this technology is being enabled in printers and other kind of devices. So you have Wi-Fi Direct enabled printers where you could directly print something. And other devices, this is very important to use cases like multiplayer gaming, where you want to have multiple users and you have large amount of data to transfer and you want fast data, you could use this. Okay, so let's switch to the next topic, which was communication. So what we have here is Android Beam. What is Android Beam? Has anybody worked with NFC before Android Beam or ICS? Anybody with NFC experience? No. Okay, so this must be new and interesting to you. So what Android Beam is basically NFC-based sharing technology, which is based on near-field communication, basically, which means that the device should have an NFC chip, and if you bring these devices in close proximity, they can share data within themselves. So it allows you to instantly exchange apps, photos, data, anything. So basically, it's not dependent on any kind of data mines or data types. You can exchange whatever you want. It's just random record that gets written to another device. And zero setup. This is the most important thing, or the biggest selling point of NFC. You don't require any setup. You just bring the device closer. They become aware of each other, and they can start sharing. So it's based on something called NFC NDEF message push. NDEF is the record, the NFC data exchange format. So basically, there is an NDEF record. There is an NDEF message, and each message can contain multiple records, NDEF records. The first record will always be the URL or the MIME type of the data, so that the other device understands how to pass this record, this message. And it's initiated as soon as you bring the device closer. NDEF message push happens on the other device. It's push because it doesn't require setup. So what does your app do? Your app does is basically create an NDEF message where it's in the foreground, your activity is in the foreground. You create an NDEF message and put the first the URL or the MIME type of the data that you want to share onto the first NDEF record. Now you make a call to set call NDEF push message, which is set NDEF push message. As soon as you call this, and when your device gets when the Android NFC Beam system is initialized, in the sense when your device gets closer to another device, this message is pushed to the other device. Now there are some callback interfaces that tell you, like the on success set NDEF push complete callback. So when the message is actually pushed to the other device and it's completed, you get, and you can show users some options or do some error handling if something went wrong. So very simple. It's just very simple. It's 10 lines of code or something that you have to write to use NFC Beam. So the other device, your app, should have the intent filter of action NDEF discovered. Then it's ready to listen to NDEF message. The Android system will pass the message to your app. You can also declare intent filter with URL or MIME types that you're interested in, specific MIME types. There may be multiple apps using Android Beam. You may have a specific type of data that you're interested in, and you can also do an intent filter on that. Less important is to guarantee that your app actually receives the message, again, because there may be multiple apps. To guarantee that your app actually receives the message, you can create an application record on the device that's actually pushing the data. You do a create application record. It uses the package info and puts that into the NDEF message. Now with this package info in place, it's guaranteed that the Android system, the runtime running on the other phone, sends it to your app, or your app it's guaranteed that your app receives the message. So create application record is the API available to guarantee that process. What we have is a simple laser beam demo. I'm going to just do the demo.